I have experience working with actors, and what I found was that working with him ultimately was no different than it is with any other actor. Mm-hmm. He just shows up. Mm-hmm. He wants to be an actor. He wants to be a performer. He wants to give a good performance, and he wants me to help him get there. I did. Although certainly I wrote the part for him. So I was playing into his strengths when I was writing the screenplay. And that was great because it afforded us more time on set. I didn't have to give him that much direction. He knew how to play the part. And so we were able to, do fewer takes and move on and try new things and have fun with it. Mm-hmm. He really likes to improvise. He likes to throw things out and to get a little, be more creative on set. And so as a result of me not having to do 100 takes because he just nails it in take one, we're able to get a little bit more flexible and have a lot more fun. I think we find him in the movie on the verge of realizing that there's more to life than the one thing he's been focused on. And in this film, it's robbing banks and breaking out of prison and all the things Forrest Tucker does. But you could substitute that for anything else. You could substitute that for acting or for directing. When I think about this in terms of directing, the movie suddenly becomes very autobiographical. And it's important to be self-aware in that regard. And Forrest Tucker is a character who is not self-aware, but over the course of this film, you start to see little wheels start turning in his head as he becomes slightly more aware of the people that he is affecting and the world around him at large. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love all those movies. It's really easy to say that, everyone loves that period in American cinema because there were legitimately great movies being made within the studio system and that happened then and will never happen again. So part of our affection for it, I think, is the countercultural side of things. Yeah. The sense that the lunatics were taking over the asylum. But certainly the movies themselves were truly great. The only subtext, I didn't feel that this movie could support much in terms of subtext. It's particularly political subtexts. It was just too light. There was not enough weight to it. And I felt that if we tried to add something heavier, it would have tipped the entire movie over on its side. And I would have had to rewrite the entire thing. Ultimately, I wanted it to be light. That was sort of the goal. I wanted it to be a light piece of entertainment. But there are aspects of it that nod in that direction, particularly in regards to Forrest Tucker's character and the fact that he has hurt people in the past. So I suppose the best way to describe it is there are emotional subtexts to what is, for the most part, a very lightweight and fun movie. The real Forrest Tucker traumatized people. He did not acknowledge that he was traumatizing people, and he certainly didn't set out to do that. But he is, because you're putting someone in harm's way. Mm. And I wanted to both participate in the myth of the gentleman bandit, but also acknowledge the rough edges and the heartbreak and sorrow that comes in his wake. Mm. So both in terms of the people that he's robbing, but even more than that, the people that have gotten close to him in his life and are left behind. I felt that modern Super 16mm stocks look the way the 35mm stocks did in the 70s and 60s. I think the technology, now that Kodak is the only company making film, the technology that Kodak has developed over the years has resulted in a 35mm stock that is pristine. And you can certainly beat it up. You can make it look a certain way, but you have to work for that. Whereas with Super 16, you just put the camera, put the film in the camera, press the button, and you're naturally going to have that aesthetic baked into the image. It was actually really difficult to get monitors and tape decks that would display images. Like all of those, props are antiques at this point, and to find things that still work and function and to get our images that we have filmed on those screens was really, really difficult. But I love modern technology, and I have every Apple product that exists. I'm not a technophobe by any means, but I also love the options that exist with analog. And so I want to always, have the option of shooting on film, even though if a movie needs to be shot digitally, I will. It wouldn't have looked the same, and just the way the qualities of the ratio from like the brightest point in the sky, which is that sun, to the shadow that surrounds most of the frame. That's the type of thing that is only going to happen on film, and you can't, there's no algorithm that can recreate that. I only have a few photographs of Forrest Tucker, and he doesn't really look that much like Robert Redford. And this version of the movie is probably closer to how he saw himself than how he really was. And I decided it was important to just never bring him down to earth. Just let him be this fictional version of a real guy as opposed to being the real guy. We made up so much in the movie, we fictionalized so much, we combined so many characters that ultimately this feels like a folk song based on the legend of Forrest Tucker rather than the true story of Forrest Tucker. Mm-hmm. We did have more text in the movie at one point explaining what happened to the characters. And ultimately Forrest died in prison, and it just was a sad note to go out on. And it just felt like it wasn't the right tone. It wasn't leaving audiences in the right place. And so we got rid of most of it. And if people are intrigued, they can go read the New Yorker article to find out what actually happened to him. But we decided to just leave a little bit of history out of the film to keep the tone intact.